Nine-time Grammy award-winning bassist, composer, and producer Christian McBride makes his return as a band leader with his 21st studio album, Without Further Ado, Vol.1, his first big band album in 5 years. Without Further Ado, Vol.1 will be released on Mac Avenue Records on August 29th. And let me tell you, it's amazing. And without further ado, the incredible Christian McBride joins me today on the WBGO Journal. Always great to see you, Christian.
Doug, I'm sending you big, big hugs over the interwebs.
And I accept them because your hugs are always the best. Without further ado, Vol.1 is a star-studded affair to say the least, featuring guest appearances by Sting, Andy Summers, Jeffrey Osborne, Samara Joy, Jose James, Cecile McLaurin-Salvant, Diane Reeves, and Antoinette Henry. This album features reimagined arrangements of classic songs coupled with the unique vocals brought to us by his guest vocalist. Christian, you known Sting since you were in his band in 2001. 4 or 5 albums you've worked on together. You didn't see each other for a while. Then you ran into each other, and suddenly he was a guest at the Jazz for Kids fundraiser, and now Murder by Numbers. I saw the Police and its Synchronicity tour with Sting, obviously, August 8th, 1983, at the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh.
Well, that's pretty cool. I never got to see the Police live. The closest I got to something like that at that time, I saw the Jacksons Victory Tour a year later, '84. So I did get to see MJ. But yes, with regards to Sting, I've had a wonderful working musical relationship with him for 24 years now. And he was so beautiful to suggest that we get Andy Summers for Murder by Numbers. And he said, well, I wouldn't want to do that song without him, as he co-wrote it. And so I'm just grateful that he did that, because to reunite two-thirds of the Police, I think, is pretty special.
You might be the only person to be able to do that. By the way, just for a little trivia, Joan Jett was the opening act for that concert, and she was booed off the stage.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, and she has
Oh my
become a Rock
goodness.
and Roll Hall of Famer since, but at that time she was booed off the stage. When you're getting these marvelous artists together, Sting and Andy Summers and you and your big band, when you start working on collaborating together, how does that process work? I mean, did you know that Murder by Numbers was the tune that you wanted? How does that all develop?
That wasn't the song that I originally wanted. Sting and I had originally agreed to do "Shadows in the Rain," but then I heard "Murder by Numbers" on the radio and remembered just what a cool song that was, and I brought that up, and he said, "Well, if you want to do that instead, I bet you I could get Andy." And so I just pulled the brakes on "Shadows in the Rain," and we shifted toward "Murder by Numbers," and I did a little I did a little deep digging. Clearly, I knew that he probably didn't sing "Murder by Numbers" in the original key, because it's been 40 years or more. And so I found a bootleg version of the Police singing "Murder by Numbers" on their reunion tour from 2009, I believe it was. And so I just sort of jotted down how they did it on the reunion tour. And so my big band arrangement is based on how they played it on their reunion tour.
It's fantastic, just like the rest of the album. Working together with your friends, and let's talk about Jeffrey Osborne for a minute. He
Yeah.
was with you at the Newport Jazz Festival that just concluded. Tell us how that relationship developed.
Well, so we're talking about Sting, Joan Jett, Michael Jackson. So the first time I saw Michael Jackson was in 1979 uh, at the Spectrum in Philly, and LTD opened. So that was the first time I saw Jeffrey Osborne, and they killed it. I mean, they was. I mean, that was always one of my favorite bands when I was a kid. But I got to know Jeffrey Osborne through George Duke. George recorded an Ellington tribute album around 2000, and Jeffrey was on it. Grady Tate was on it. Rochelle Farrell was on it. Diane, Take Six, Al Jarreau, and then I recorded with Jeffrey on his solo album from 2007, I believe it was. No, 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 no. I'm sorry, it was later than that. I think it was called A Time for Love. And that's when I really got to be friends with him and get to know him. And he came and sang with my big band at NJ Pack back in 2014, I believe it was. And he's the greatest guy. He absolutely still sounds great and he still looks great. I mean, it's amazing. He's 77 years old now. He works out 5 days a week. He doesn't smoke. He doesn't drink. I mean, he is just a picture of health and what we should strive for.
Back in Love Again, I can tell why you wanted this one. What a great groove for you as a bassist. It's perfect for you.
Well, that was one of the hottest songs of back in the day, if you remember. So, to play that song with him is that's a dream come true. It's one thing playing a song with a great group of musicians, but it's one thing to play a great song with the guy who actually made it.
Yeah, that is for sure. I have to say that Old Folks with Samara Joy is one of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard. As you were recording this, what was going on inside of you?
I spoke to Samara uh, a couple of months before, and I said, "Hey, what's your favorite ballad?" Because I needed this album to have a good ballad. And she, without hesitation, well, she kind of looked up in the air for a couple of seconds, and she said, "Old Folks." And she told me what key she sang it in, and I got to work. So I just tried to write the prettiest arrangement that I could that would just kind of make a silk lining for her, just something that she could just come in and just float on top.
It's absolutely gorgeous. I can't wait for people to hear Old Folks by Samara Joy because it is it's powerful, man. It is just beautiful, as is the rest of the album. You
Thank
want
you.
to talk about the big band a little bit and how it's great to be with the big band?
I never get enough of the big band, just simply because of it being a big band. We don't really work that much. I think we probably play only 2 gigs a year, at least a guaranteed 2 gigs a year. One of those gigs is at NJ Pack for the gala. Actually, both of those gigs are at NJ Pack for the annual gala and for the Moody Festival in November. But other than that, if we ever get a gig, it's always just kind of a one-off. So I'm really hoping that I'll get to work more with the big band in 2027. Oh,
As you
sorry, 2026. I don't know what year it is. I don't know what month it is. I don't know who I am, where I am, or what I am. But
I, I can't blame you between the Montclair Jazz Festival coming up. You just completed a wonderful run at the Newport Jazz Festival. You've had the Moody Festival, all your touring. I don't even know how you had time to put this together. When you said I got to work and on Samara's song, how long did this album take you to put together?
just over 2 years. We started recording tracks in 2022, and as you notice, the name of the album is Without Further Ado, Vol.1. So I guess that tips you off that there's a volume 2. So we actually did both albums inside of the last 2 years. Well, since 2022. So that's a total of I think 15 or 16 tracks, and another group of singers who I'm not going to reveal yet.
I was gonna ask, but I guess I'm not gonna get it.
Nope, can't hear that surprise yet. But yes, it's taken a little over 2 years.
Hmm. Can't wait for Volume 2, and Volume 1 isn't officially even out yet. Uh, Diane Reeves has always been one of my favorites, and Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow, a whole different arrangement. You and Diane go back a long ways as well.
Indeed, I met Diane in the early 90s. I would say 1992. We met at the old Mount Fuji Jazz Festival in Japan. And even then, everybody knew Diane was one of the great ones. No one ever questioned her um, her belonging in the conversation in that pantheon of legends. It's just been a joy to know and work with her so much all of these years. It never ever gets old.
What was the most surprising moment in putting Volume 1 together?
Surprising moment. I don't know if there were any real surprises. Yeah, I mean everything went down pretty smooth. Yeah, I don't think there were any real surprises. I really hope that the track that features Antoinette Henry, who is a fabulous young vocalist from Philly. I gotta look out for the hometown. Uh, I produced a CD for her about 10 years ago, and I had Renee Rosnes play on it, and Lewis Nash and Adam Rogers, and I'm hoping that this will make a little noise for her because I think she's a fantastic vocalist.
Yeah, it's another one of the great tracks. Moanin'. Jose James, you've got to do Moanin'.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Jose is another person who I've had a chance to work with a lot, and when he sings straight ahead jazz, I mean, he knocks it out of the park. I was already a fan of his. We met in 2008 doing a Marvin Gaye tribute together, and he sang the Marvin stuff great. But then when I saw him on the road with McCoy Tyner doing they were doing a tribute to the John Coltrane Johnny Hartman album. That was incredible to hear him sing with McCoy Tyner. And then he did that Billie Holiday tribute album on Blue Note some years back. And I said, man, this cat is extra special. And there's not a whole lot of really awesome jazz male vocalists out there. I mean, like the girls are beating the guys by a lot. So I'm like, fellas, what are you doing? So Jose, uh, he's pulling it up strong for the fellas, and he's just a really great singer.
Yeah, you'll really enjoy Moanin' on this Volume 1. It's out on Mac Avenue Records. It comes out August 29th, and it is something that you will get different vibes from each track, when it comes to Without Further Ado, Volume 1. And Cecile McLaurin Salvant, I know has been not only a friend, but someone that you have admired and worked with for a long time as well.
I feel somewhat in a very strange way. I feel like I play a small part in her success, and I'll tell you why. Because when she was nominated for her first Grammy, I don't even remember what year that was. I'm going to guess it might have been 2013 or 14. Uh, we were walking into the Grammy ceremony together, and I was with Melissa, and she was with her parents. And I met her parents, and they're so sweet. And I said this because I honestly believe it. It wasn't a pep talk. I said, Cecile, you're going to win today. And she's like, no, no, I don't know. I said, no, 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 you're going to win, you know. And so she did not win. And so later that night at the post reception, at the post ceremony reception, her mother came up to me, like, you said she was going to win. And she let me have it. She hit me on my arm and everything. So I kind of looked at Cecile. I was like, Now you're really going to win the next time you get nominated because your mother is angry.
Well, I have a strong feeling that it will be Grammy Award number 10 for Christian McBride with this album.
Now,
As you,
if I lose, I'm going to send my mother after you, and she's going to hit you on the arm.
I, I'm,
No,
I'm,
I'm going to send Cecile's mother after you.
yeah, I'm pretty confident of that. You mentioned when you were putting together it, everything ran smoothly. Um, Selecting the artists has to be kind of difficult. I know you have a volume two coming out, but how did you judge it by, you wanted to have so much of this, so much of that? How did you put it together?
No, the impetus for this recording actually stems from the annual gala at NJPAC. So since 2012, I've been jazz advisor there, and my big band has been the house band for the gala ever since. And we've invited all kinds of great singers to come and sing at those galas. We've had everybody, but between the gala and the Moody Festival, we've had Al Jarreau, we've had Jeffrey, we've had Diane, we've had Cecile, we've had Liz Wright, we've had Fantasia, we've had Cynthia Erivo, Philip Bailey. I mean, every singer you could possibly think of, Kenny Lattimore, and every year I have to write these arrangements for these singers, and they only get played once at either at the gala or at the Moody Festival. So after over 10 years, I'm looking in my library and I got like this huge pile of big band music that's only been played once. And I thought, well, they shouldn't go to waste. Let's record these puppies, you know. So that's how I just kind of looked at these arrangements and said, okay, I'm calling him, I'm calling him, I'm calling her, calling her, calling him, and we're gonna record these. So
Great.
so thanks NJ
Yeah. What a great idea. And we are the beneficiaries of that idea. Also, you're going to be the executive producer for Lettucey's tribute album for Dinah in honor of Dinah Washington. That's coming out
Man,
October 3rd.
wait till you hear that. I am so excited about that record.
You just don't stop. You and your wife, Melissa Walker, Jazz House Kids. As I already mentioned, the Newport Jazz Festival, the Montclair Jazz Festival is coming up in September. What do you do for your downtime, Christian, these days?
MLB The Show on PlayStation 5. And my Madden should be showing up in the mail any day now.
And you see Christian actually rigs his machines to make sure all the Phillies teams and the Eagles and the Sixers they win every game he plays. You're not only are you on top of the music world, you're on top of the NFL world as the Eagles are defending champions heading into the new season. Are we looking for a repeat?
Excuse me. I'm not saying yes or no, but I will say that I feel so good about my Eagles. Even if they don't win, even if they don't repeat this season, I see at least another two rings inside the next 4 years.
Is Hertz a Jazz fan?
That's a good question. He seems like he would be because he's very mature and he's very thoughtful. So he seems to me to be like a jazz fan.
Well, you have to take care of that because you have the
Hey,
power to go and talk to him.
I did find out that our star middle linebacker Zach Bond not only likes jazz, but he plays the bass. He
Wow.
plays the upright bass. So I need to get to him.
I see a duo forming already with all kinds of new Eagles songs. But this is the one we're talking about today, and it's just a fabulous album, and it comes out on Mac Avenue Records on August 29th. Without further ado, Volume 1, Christian McBride's Big Band. We always have fun with you, Christian, and continued success, and not only with your music, also with the show here on WBGO. Jazz Night in America keeps on going. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Doug, I love you lots and always great to speak with you as well, my friend.